All right, let's get one thing straight, okay? I love stationery. I've built a whole life around notebooks and pens and planners and paper. They've helped me plan and reflect and create. But with that being said, you know, loving something deeply doesn't mean you can't see its flaws. In fact, I think it's because I care about this hobby so much that I feel the need to say what's on my mind. And this is where this video comes in, okay? Consider this my list of stationery hot takes. What's going on, guys? My name is Brian, also known as That Journaling Guy, and welcome to today's video, which is kind of like just a little personal list of hot takes that I have on stationery that I think is overrated. Okay, personally, whether it'll be tools or specific products or methodologies, I'm here to share this with you guys and maybe get a little bit of feedback on what you guys think is a little bit more overrated than not. Okay, so let's start with number one. And this isn't in hierarchy, by the way. This isn't like 1, 2, 3 in that sense that like this is the most overrated. It's just like 5 things that I think are overrated in general. Number one is going to be this. It's washi tape, okay? Because genuinely, I think washi tape has to be like one of the most misleading products of all time, of like stationery in general, okay? Because like, look me in the eyes right now, okay? How many rolls of washi tape do you own right now? Okay, and how many of those washi tapes have you actually used? Exactly. I'd put money on it that you have not used at least half of your collection. Okay, and washi tape is one of those stationery items that I think just really appeals more to the idea of journaling than actual practice. Okay, because it's really not about function. Let's be real here. It's not. Okay, it doesn't actually hold anything together. Okay, it's just at its core, genuinely, I think it's just clutter. It's just stationary clutter. All right, and even knowing that, because we're being honest here, okay, even knowing that, for some reason, when people start getting into like stationery, it holds like this mythical status of like everybody needs to have it. Everybody needs to start a collection of washi tape. It's going to transform the way you journal. There's entire Etsy shops that are dedicated to washi tape. And like they thrive on selling these pattern pieces of tape. But usually when it comes to actually journaling, it just sits in a drawer somewhere. All right, it doesn't come out often unless you have it like displayed on your desk. And listen, sue me. I'm not saying washi tape is worthless. I'm not. All right. I think it has its place in things like scrapbooking, collages. It's decorative in some places, but I think it's overhyped. I think washi tape is crazy overhyped. I obviously fell for that hypeness, but I haven't bought washi tape in a really long time, and I probably won't be buying washi tape ever again. I still have that washi tape's from like 6 years ago, dude. I don't think I've ever actually finished a single roll of washi tape. Ever. Because I use it as little accents in my journaling. A little piece there, a little piece there. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, what are we doing? Why are we still telling people to go spend money on washi tape? All right. As you can see, this is definitely going to be a personal rant. So the second thing that I think is so overhyped and pisses me off, I'm sorry to bring it up here. I am, but it's got to be said. It's got to be said. Dude, the Archer and Olive Acryigraph pens. A few things in the stationery world have disappointed me more than the Acryigraph pens. Okay? And they got really fucking popular. They like exploded in popularity as, and honestly, it's just Archer and Olive's amazing like branding and marketing. They're very good at what they do. But you would see like videos of their ambassadors making these really beautiful paintings in their journals, in their notebooks with these Acryigraph pens. You know, they made promises about like super opaque lines and they would be smooth, and just the idea that it was going to elevate your art to the next level. These little fucking pens. There was so much potential in these, okay? But you can't even look at these wrong, okay? You can't even look at them weird without them fucking clogging. Literally within minutes of using these things, the problems start, okay? Like, they clog if you don't shake them. All right, like a little fucking maraca before every use. They drip out of the tip. All right, if you pause too long on your paper, they dry out fucking hella fast. Sometimes they don't produce any ink. Sometimes they produce too much ink. And don't even try to layer them. Don't even try to like wait till you're just gonna scratch it off because the tips are fucking garbage. Okay, and honestly, your paper's just gonna end up looking like your dog actually ate your homework. Like it's atrocious. I remember using these pens in one of their journals and actually scratching off the layer, like a layer of paper, because all I was trying to do was try to put paint on the fucking paper, dude. And it was like scratching off the paper. Like, oh my God. All right, there's so much maintenance involved with these. Okay, that by the time you actually get to painting with them, you're over it. You're too annoyed to keep going. You're frustrated with the entire situation. You just want to, you're moving on. And don't even think about letting them sit for more than like 2 days. These have been sitting for a while, so I know they're fucked. Okay, I can't use these anymore. They're decorative pieces right now. Okay, and of course, and I think one of the biggest things was when they first came out. I'm sure they've iterated on them. This is the first gen Acryigraphs, by the way. The marketing of it all is going to tell you it's your fault. 100%. They're going to tell you you didn't store them correctly. You're not using them correctly. You didn't love them enough. And that's not true. Okay, the pens are the problem. The pens are the issue here. By the way, like I'm telling you, I have so many of them. I really wanted to love these so badly. And I think these are literally the definition of stationary snake oil. Right? They sell you these perfect, nice paintings and drawings, and they don't give you anything but frustration, because that's all I felt using these. Okay, so Archer and Olive Acryigraph pens. Overrated. The third thing, let's talk about stationery boxes. Okay? Stationery boxes. They suck. They just suck. Subscriptions are one of those ideas that like sound really amazing in theory. Like, you get a little box every month that has surprise stationery, and it's right at your front door, and it feels like Christmas morning, and you are excited, right? And all this marketing behind these stationery subscription boxes use marketing words like curated to the utmost perfection for your joy and pleasure. And they like try to create this sense of community around these subscription boxes. But the reality is they just suck. They're overpriced clutter. Okay. And I don't blame the people who jump into this business, right? I think the problem is baked right into the business model itself. Okay. The truth of the matter is that companies can't afford to send you high quality, in demand products every month and still make a profit. So what do you do instead? You use filler items, you use mid-tier notebooks with shitty fucking paper, cheap pens that you couldn't sell and dry out within a week, random stickers that nobody really cares about and that don't fit your aesthetic. And then sometimes they throw the occasional exclusive item like a pencil bag that's always like a little gimmick. Trust me, I have those. The only, to this day, one of the only, and this still holds true, one of the only subscription boxes I genuinely enjoyed when starting my fountain pen collecting hobby was the Trufe. The Trufe like subscription boxes were dope. I had them for a few months. I got some good pens out of them, right? They weren't all, bangers, but I got some good pens that really let me explore the hobby and give me pens that I don't think I would have actually gone for had it not been for that subscription box. But besides that one, I know that there's a few sticker ones that are kind of decent as well. But other than those, you're paying 30, 40, 50 bucks a month for the privilege of accumulating the bulk from a company that didn't know where to store its worst selling products. And the reality of it is that whatever you get in these little fucking subscription boxes, you're just gonna either trade away, which mind you, they have entire Facebook groups dedicated to trading away the bullshit that comes in these subscription boxes, or you're going to shove them in a drawer that's going to be forgotten until you decide to declutter and donate them and pass them on anyway. Subscription boxes in the stationery community are scams. They suck. And I'm tired of pretending like we need to hype them up. So I'll be honest here. I did get the Archer Knowledge subscription box for a couple of months. And I thought those were good deals because you were usually getting full notebooks, which was like 80% of the price of the box, because Archer and Olive notebooks are expensive. So anything that you got outside of the notebook was like a bonus. It was pretty good. The subscription was you get one Archer and Olive notebook is at minimum. I liked it. I thought that was good value. I don't know how the subscription box is nowadays. I still see people talking about it. There's still content being made. I hope they're good. I really do, for people who are investing their time and money and are excited about it. I hope it's good. I just haven't been interested in them. But overall, I think subscription boxes are overrated. They're kind of bullshit. And especially in the stationery, the value's usually never there. Now we get to number 4, numero cuatro. This next thing I'm going to talk about, people talk about like it is the most game-changing fucking thing that's ever touched the stationery community. Okay, it's like, if you buy this, your journaling life will transform. And you're like, all right, what is it? It's fucking pencil boards. Like, if you've never heard of them, okay, they're basically a thin piece of plastic or cardboard sheets that you slip behind a page. So one, you create a smoother surface, and so you don't leave any indentation on the next page. That's essentially what it is. It's a little piece of extra protection. First of all, who's out here writing so hard on their pages that they're indenting 3 or 4 pages at a time? I know Tomoe paper, like Tomoe River paper, is thin, but what are you fucking scribbling with it? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, that you need a whole piece of plastic to protect from the indents. 2, it might be a problem with perfectionism if a little bit of indenting in your paper bothers you that much. Just saying. But how bad must somebody have been denting their paper where they thought, you know what would fit perfectly here? You know what kind of product would fix this right now? A piece of plastic. Like, what are we doing? Okay? Like, this has not changed my stationery life at all. All right, it's just like another random little accessory, and we all love accessories. We all love little doohickeys, I know, but it just adds a little bit of fussiness to your entire process of journaling. You gotta take it out, you gotta put it behind the page. You know what I've actually been using these for? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a pencil board. It could be anything. It could be a piece of cardboard, a card stock. I've been using it as a place to put my hand so that it kind of slides down while I'm writing, because I have sweaty hands. And if I just write on my Tomoe River paper or whatever notebook that is, like it'll either get stuck and lift with my hand or I'll smudge the ink. So to say that I don't get some value out of it is bullshit, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a pencil board. And then let's not forget the price of these fucking things. Okay, pencil boards cost way more than they're worth. At the end of the day, you're paying like 10 to 15 bucks for one of these because they teamed up with some video game from the 1980s and you're like, I need to have that. I'm talking about the Earth one. But it's genuinely like you could use a piece of junk mail that does the same exact thing. Okay, the stationery community has a habit of taking really basic concepts like this, slapping some branding on it, and then convincing us that they're essential tools. Okay, Exhibit A, pencil board. The next thing that I think is really overrated, and God, it feels like I have flipped 180%, okay? But now that I am like sitting down and really thinking about it, is bullet journaling. Dude, what the fuck happened to bullet journaling? Bullet journaling was supposed to be like this simple modular system. Okay, Ryder's original system was clean and it was minimal and it worked. It really worked. It was a way to organize your tasks and track your days, and you weren't drowning in unnecessary complexity. But then Instagram got a hold of it and turned it into this performative fucking my life is more in control than yours, holier than thou thing. Okay, and it just became about like who can make the prettier page. And everywhere you look, it's watercolor spreads, elaborate like hand lettered headers and footers and calendars that require rulers and stained glass mosaics. Like I used to do this. I used to spend 3 to 6 hours minimum trying to set up my month for the next month, doing all these elaborate little artistic designs, all to just not even use it next month. And for what? So I can check off buy groceries under a banner that fucking deserves to be in a museum or like a wedding invitation. Like bullet journaling in its Instagram form right now has just become this productivity trap. Okay, you feel productive because you're making something really elaborate, but the system itself often stops serving its actual purpose because you're focusing on how elaborate the system has become. And then it's brutal for beginners because they try it and they can't keep up with these really complex layouts that they see, and so they just convince themselves that bullet journaling isn't for them. And I want to tell them that the problem is not you. It's the culture that has been born around bullet journaling. I mean, like, I can be honest about it because I've fallen for it too. I've spent, like I said, hours and afternoons designing spreads that looked really great and were picture worthy, and then they eventually just became too unsustainable. I was always trying to one-up my art or one-up my layout, right? And then you realize that the whole thing kind of collapses in itself when you don't have these nice spreads that you've come to expect from yourself. So then you just start ending up with like half finished trackers and this like guilt that you're not putting in the work to be as productive as you could be because your planner doesn't look as nice. And this is more a critique on the bastardization of bullet journaling from Instagram and social media. I, at its core, think that bullet journaling is brilliant. Like, it's a fantastic method, but it's just been consumed and mutated online to something almost completely unrecognizable. So I think the bullet journal method has become overrated. Okay? Unless you genuinely love spending your weekends drawing little tiny doodles and flowers and little wraiths and stuff. If you don't, it's unsustainable. You're not going to be able to keep up with the social media world. Okay? My next complaint is this. Who thought that people, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe there's a reason behind it. But that doesn't matter. You guys might have seen in real time, like maybe that's not the worst idea. But I'm just gonna say it. Tear out pages. Okay, tear out pages is one of those features that like notebook companies fucking include, like they're doing you a fucking massive favor. I'm cursing a lot. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just get really passionate about it. Anyway, yeah, well, like Moleskine, Leuchtturm, they have like perforated pages that you can tear out in these notebooks that are like $20 to $30. Why would somebody build one of these journals with a self-destruct option? I don't get it. Okay, who spends $40 on a journal just to tear out all the pages? Like when I buy a notebook like that, a journal that's that expensive, I want permanence. I want the pages to feel like they're going to stay in there, because I have so many of my early journals done in composition notebooks that the pages are literally falling out, and I'm just keeping them in place to keep it in chronological order. And I'm so sad I didn't invest in a better journal, because the longevity just isn't there. These things rip out, they will fall out. Okay, and if you're like, if I need to make a shopping list, I'll use a cheaper notebook. Stop including these fucking things in notebooks past $20. No, but really, I mean, if you want to write a letter to someone or something, I don't think that's the worst idea ever. Anyway, okay, I might catch a lot of flack for this next one. I get it. It's a little bit about personal preference, you know what I'm saying? But I hate I hate ring systems, dude. Ring systems are dumb. Okay, I said it. They're just dumb. They're like these bulky little fragile fucking metal rings that never seem to align correctly and just always a hassle. Okay, they give you more problems than what they're worth. Okay, first of all, they're bulky. Okay, ring systems are like strapping a metal hinge to a notebook. All right, even the smaller ones feel like you're carrying around a little brick. And then you go to write in it and you open it up, right? And you're looking for a clean writing surface. You've got a giant row of fucking teeth in the middle, okay? It's taking up half of your page space. Don't even get me started. Like, unless you stick to right-hand side only, you're constantly fighting these rings. And for what? For what? So you can move pages around? They're fragile as fuck, too. Okay, the metal usually bends and they stop lining up, and the pages start getting snagged, and they start falling out, and I do not like ring systems at all. I mean, listen, there's always an exception. Listen, one that I might give the pass to, because I think they have kind of cracked the code, possibly. I've held them, I've never used one, I haven't owned one because the price is outrageous, are plotters. I think they got the ring systems down. They're small, they look good, they look high quality. So I'm going to put a pin in this one. If I get a plotter and I make a video about a plotter, and see if I still feel this way about ring systems. But as of now, I don't like them. I don't like them. Okay, I've tried to like them. I really have. And I always come back to the same conclusion. This is a dumb way to keep a notebook. Okay, next one. All right, this is my final hot take for this video. I think you guys have had enough of these. To at least tell me how wrong I am in the comments. But, and this is crazy coming from somebody who makes fountain pen content. Fountain pens are not for everyone. They're not. I love fountain pens. I really, really do. And they've brought me this immense level of happiness and joy. And there's so much to love about fountain pens. But I don't think fountain pens are for everyone. And I think the way that the stationery community has pushed them, like they're the holy grail of writing instruments. Yeah, no, I don't think that's the moves, Chief. I don't. Because they are wonderful. They can be wonderful tools, but they're niche. Okay, they're really niche, and they're best for people who enjoy the ritual of writing. Okay, and they like slowing down, and there's the intentionality behind their writing, right? But not everyone has, one, the ability to slow down or the desire to slow down. Two, nope, not everyone wants to care for their fountain pens like a houseplant. Okay, you can't leave them sitting a certain way. Some inks will clog up your nib more than others. There's maintenance. There's maintenance in your stationery tools. You have to take care of them. And I think fountain pens have just been overly romanticized to the point of absurdity. Okay? They're not the best pens to use with your journaling. They're just pens. And I think that's okay. If fountain pens aren't for you, then they're not for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. I will still always be recommending that people should try a fountain pen to decide for yourself whether it's for you or not. So, with that, those are a few of my stationery hot takes. That's my little rant. They're just like kind of things that I needed to get out of my mind and on to somewhere to discuss with other people, because nobody in my life really understands these things. I can't talk about this at Walmart with some random. Nobody's gonna get it. So I thought it'd be fun to bring it up to here, and we could discuss a little bit about your hot takes, what you think about my hot takes. Are they good? Are they bad? Do you agree with some? Do you agree with others? It's an opinion. These are opinions. Take everything that I say with a grain of salt. If any of these pertain to you, I'm not attacking you directly. Okay? I apologize. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure to comment down below, subscribe, and leave a like. I got the order wrong on those, but that's okay. I'm writing consistently on Substack every week over on Substack. If you want stationery content that dives deep into the psychology of productivity and stationery in general, head over to my Substack, subscribe over there, and you will get a weekly newsletter from me, from Wa. And we're doing good. We're on week 32 or something of consistent posting, so you can expect that from me way more consistently than any other type of content. I've been good there. Again, thank you guys so much if you watch these videos. I appreciate it endlessly, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.